Hello, and welcome back to Guild Wars 2 Goldlocked, a series inspired by many other similar series and other games where we are locked to one map and we have to earn a certain amount of gold in order to progress to the next. We started our adventures last episode as a Norn warrior in the Wayfarer Foothills, and as we earned 50 gold, we spun a wheel to see which zone we would be going to next, and we got to Diessa Plateau. So today, let's go across the entire map, completing every objective, killing every enemy, beating every puzzle and event, and just canvassing the entire map for any way to make gold. Let's do some studying, let's do some research, let's do some experimentation, and let's come up with the best ways to make gold in this Ask Loading zone. Are we going to be fighting MOAs for hours again, or is there something more interesting awaiting us? With any new zone, I am super excited to explore through it on a fresh character and get map completion while completing as much of the story as I could in this map, before we get to a story mission that requires us to go to a map we haven't been to yet. And so I did exactly that across the entire Diessa Plateau. As we explore some of this beautiful map, I wanted to take some time to highlight one major aspect of Guild Wars 2 that has the potential to net you some gold, but I want to go over the pros, cons, and reality of such a system, and that is crafting. Now, I didn't do any crafting while we were in the Wayfarer Foothills, and that was for a good reason. You see, crafting is largely just not a good way to make gold. There are some incredibly niche things that we could find through market research that may net us a little bit of a profit, but our time looking for those items would be better spent elsewhere. We also have the time-gated ascended crafting materials that definitely sell for a decent amount, but not too much more than the materials required, and we would need a wide variety of zones unlocked in order to get to those items. Additionally, we would have to put a lot of time and materials into leveling up a crafting discipline to get to that point as well. This has always been an aspect of Guild Wars 2 that people don't like, but it's just how the economy goes. There's definitely a great vibe of taking materials, turning it into an item, and then selling that item in an MMORPG, but unfortunately that's not really a thing we see in Guild Wars 2, and as such, I'm only going to pick up cooking for the adventure guide and never craft anything. Another slightly related idea is salvaging. There's been a lot of research done on whether or not you should salvage or sell equipment over the years. For me personally, and based on a lot of research, a general summary of what you should be going for is salvaging any blue and green gear while selling rare and exotic gear on the trading post, unless they are super cheap and you have a Black Lion salvage kit. And I'm basically just going to follow those rules. When it comes to unidentified gear, which we don't get a lot of in core maps, you should identify every piece of gear prior to salvaging or selling, but I will admit I sometimes get a little lazy there. And by the end of my adventures with completing the zone, I got 2 gold, 65 silver, and 4 copper worth of items on the trading post, plus I got just over 38 silver in other drops, which is a fair bit less than what we got when exploring the Wayfarer Foothills, which surprised me at first, but it is because I got 1 gold from completing the level 10 personal story with the Black Lion key. And I did get a Black Lion key, but I have no chest, and per the rules of this challenge, I can't buy a chest on the trading post. So once I get a chest and open it, I will have 1 more gold, which will bring our total from the start here to basically the same amount as with Wayfarer Foothills. Now it comes to doing some sweeps across the map and figuring out what is going to be good ways to make gold. When we look at mob loot tables and the materials you can find in this map on a one-to-one basis compared to Wayfarer Foothills and other starting areas, the amount of gold you naturally earn in this map is going to be higher. Guild Wars 2 has multiple tiers of materials with a total of 7 different tiers, Tier 7 being for ascended items and is a little bit more complicated than the first 6 tiers. Tier 6 is worth quite a bit of gold, while Tier 1 is worth very little gold, as you have so many players playing through areas that naturally drop Tier 1 materials, and as Tier 1 materials aren't as needed in in-game crafting, they are naturally going to be worth less. Really quickly, I want to add in here, I got a Black Lion chest key and I opened it and got the White Tiger pistol skin, which is worth 23 gold if you sell it straight up, and current listings go up to 35 gold. I'm not going to sell this on this account because it feels like cheating, but everything else is fair game with upwards of 3 gold earned from the key I earned in this map. Anyways, when it comes to tiers 2 through 5, it can be a little bit more complicated. Tier 3 and Tier 4 are the massive winners here, where they are largely worth the most amount of gold, more so than Tier 6 even, since they are exclusively dropped in maps that are less played than in-game maps drop Tier 6 stuff as well as Tier 5 stuff. Tier 2 and 5 are still worth a lot more than Tier 1 items, but are less compared to tiers 3, 4, and 6. So in Diessa Plateau, as I mentioned at the start of the section, we're just naturally going to earn more gold as we do random things in the map, but we have some maps to look forward to in the hopefully soon future that drop tier 3 and 4 items. Next, let's specifically focus on gathering nodes that we can find in the map. With this map, we unlock access to iron ore and softwood logs, which are worth more than their copper ore and green wood log counterparts. The softwood logs coming from gummo saplings, which also have a chance to drop cinnamon sticks, which are a nice chunk of bonus coin. We then also have access to a lot of the same herb nodes as we did in the Wayfarer Foothills, with herb seedlings still being a fantastic winner. But we also unlock herb sprouts, which are pretty much the exact same thing as herb seedlings, but now that we are in Ascalon instead of the Shiver Peaks, we can get chili peppers and sage leaf, which are each worth about 1 silver. We do lose access to parsley leaves and herb seedlings that were about 4.5 silver each, which is unfortunate. We can also get tap roots that drop beets, carrots, and turnips, which are really cheap, with turnips being about 10 copper a piece. But we also gain access to our first garden that we can only harvest once a day with Anya's strawberry patch. This is a phenomenal little hidden area in the southwestern corner of the town of Nolan that I have highlighted on my channel many times. But we have multiple strawberry plants here that we can harvest, and the strawberries sell for a little over half a silver each. So I can go ahead and go across the entire map, including coming into the strawberry garden, and just harvest every node I can get. Doing so took me about 36 minutes, which is a bit longer than it took me in the Wayfarer Foothills. And I will say this map is much worse to navigate through to get all the different nodes. Many are hidden in caves or behind walls, and the mob density in this map is a lot higher than in the Wayfarer Foothills, so I kept getting attacked by mobs. Plus, there are also sonic periscopes from Living World Season 1 in this map, which make it a fair bit harder too with their long range stun. But I did get a lot of materials, including 97 iron ore worth a gold and 10 silver, 46 silver ore worth 8 silver. Yeah, silver ore is basically worthless. I did get 2 sunstone nuggets worth 10.5 silver each, which drops for both iron and silver ore, 67 softwood logs worth 18 silver, which is also pretty bad. And I want to mention that I got no cinnamon sticks from any of the tree nodes. So while softwood logs are worth almost twice as much as greenwood logs, these nodes just net less gold because cinnamon sticks are worth so much. Then I got a bunch of other materials too, with 12 strawberries worth 8.5 silver, and a bunch of stuff from herb seedlings, herb sprouts, and mushrooms worth a decent amount. And selling everything gave me a grand total of 2 gold, 83 silver, and 64 copper, which is roughly 4 gold and 71 silver per hour. Every little thing does add up, and Diessa Plateau actually beats the Wayfarer Foothills in the gold per hour department from nodes, but was anecdotally a fair bit worse of an experience. Now it comes time to find some interesting mob farms and other unique ways we can get gold in the map. And from my time exploring the Diessa Plateau, killing a bunch of mobs, and doing some events, there really isn't a lot of good stuff going on here for the gold making department. I found a couple of interesting, consistent mob farms you could do in the Wayfarer Foothills, and I couldn't really find anything good beyond a small stream of gold that you just get from naturally killing things, except for one thing, and I'm sure most of you know what that thing is, and we'll get to it in a bit. First, let's highlight 3 unique ideas in this map, the last 2 which are exclusive to this map and cannot be found anywhere else in the game. The first idea are map bonus rewards. Outside of starting areas, there is a hidden reward track of bonus rewards that you can earn as you complete events in different maps. These reward tracks rotate on a weekly basis, but have set lists exclusive to certain maps, and some of these reward tracks are really good. Diessa Plateau in particular is a very event-heavy map, especially since Living World Season 1 was re-added to the game, so you can complete a bunch of events and get a ton of map bonuses in this map. Unfortunately, Diessa Plateau is not a very good map for map bonus rewards, but it can still be nice to just sit back and do a bunch of events and then get some items as a bonus reward. The second idea, and this is entering the territory of an interesting gold farm, is an exclusive drop that can be found in one chest in the Diessa Plateau and nowhere else in the game. The Flame Temple Tombs is an iconic location in the map that you can reach by climbing up the ramp in the northeastern part of the map, but located here is a mini dungeon called the Font of Rand that can only be accessed via a portal located at Incendio Templum, which is unlocked after the meta event here is successful. So accessing this area can be time consuming if Incendio Templum isn't controlled. Then once inside the mini dungeon, it's actually a decently challenging one with a lot of interesting puzzles and obstacles you have to overcome. The final room is an underwater area where Rendak the Crazed will spawn every 10 minutes after being defeated, where you can kill him to complete the mini dungeon. Due to the nature of this area, this is a pretty popular location for players to have an odd character camped out at the end of to just log in every day to complete the mini dungeon without having to do the whole thing over and over again. However, the boss is pretty difficult and you often need a couple more people to complete it, so being here on a Mesmer and porting people in is a popular choice. But the reason people complete this mini dungeon is for the very rare chance of the exotic version of Rendak's signet to drop. This is an item that is needed for the Treasure Hunter achievement, and it sells on the trading post for 100 to 150 gold, which is definitely a decent amount of gold for a random item that drops in a random part of a random map. The drop chance for this item, of course, being incredibly low, with only 64 being sold on the North America trading post when I write this video. But I thought I'd go through here anyways to just mess around for a bit, and of course, as everyone expected, I didn't get it. But I still find this a really cool thing in the map, and if you just have a character parked here and log in for a couple minutes every day, you could randomly just get 100 gold added to your wallet. But the third and final interesting part of this map that I want to highlight that is also exclusive to this map is the catapult. This is an object in Freeway Pastures, which is kind of crazy, and it is necessary to interact with in order to get you to the top of Moorwatch Tower to get that vista. But following the event to defend Mad Mardine's cows from harpies while he tests his invention, Mad Mardine will launch some of the cows through the catapult, and you can bet on how far it goes, spending 50 silver for a 25% chance to get an item worth 1 gold, doubling your money, or a 75% chance to straight up lose the 50 silver. So really it's not worth it at all, but it can be a fun thing to do. But there is a very, 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 very small and completely impractical chance that you could start with 50 silver and happen to get every bet correctly and just make 50 gold off of this. But I don't think that has ever happened to a single person, but I can give it a single shot to see if I get 50 silver or if I'm going to have to spend extra time farming in this map. And, well, you won't believe it. I guessed correctly and I got a flying cow token and earned 50 silver. I should have put out there because it is a really low chance to win this, but I felt in my soul that I should bet again, so I did. And well, I won again. It's actually insane that I got 2 in a row and I got 2 flying cow tokens, meaning I turned 1 gold into 2 gold. So what did I do? I placed another wager for the third and final cow, and well, I got it right again. I won all 3 of the wagers for this post-event activity and got 3 flying cow tokens worth a total of 3 gold, turning 1 gold and 50 silver into 3 gold in about a minute. Not bad if I do say so myself, but I was incredibly lucky here and this will probably never happen to me again. But there's a really weird thing. You can sell these flying cow tokens on the trading post for a little bit over 2 gold each, doubling the amount of gold I got from this. I don't think these are worth anything but gold from a vendor, so I'm not sure why they sell for so much more, but I don't mind it. I can't believe I just got 7 gold from betting on how far cows would go from being launched out of a catapult. And now it's time to get to the point of the video that everyone has been waiting for. I've earned 15 gold so far in this video, half of that being from betting on cows, and I've spent a lot of time looking around the map and testing some random stuff, plus doing some research online, and well, we're coming to the same conclusion as we did in the last video. Slabs of poultry meat are just like super expensive. In fact, at the time of making this video, they have gone up in price several silvers since the last episode, meaning they are even more worth our time. And well, there are a ton of moa in this map. Wayfarer Foothills had 2 specific locations with a ton of moas in those spots, and it was easy to just go back and forth. In this map, there are more total moas in the map, but they are a lot more spread out in several different areas, so it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. So let's break this up into 5 30-minute sessions where I'll go to multiple different locations around the map, killing moas over and over for 30 minutes straight, and we can take a break after each session to see how much we get and get a nice little average going. After my first farm, I came home with 14 slabs of poultry meat, which is on par for what we got in the Wayfarer Foothills. So between these 2 zones and with the differences, you can get the same amount of slabs of poultry meat. Personally, I actually enjoy Diessa Plateau more because we have 2 different types of moa, the white moa next to the entrance to Wayfarer Foothills, and Crimson Moa across the rest of the map. And I like the flow of going from area to area better, even if it does eat up a little more money from the waypoint costs. Selling the 14 slabs of poacher meat netted me nearly 5.5 gold, which is great because of the increased price of the poacher meat this week. Then with the 14 eggs and all the other items, I came home with 5 gold and 69 silver, or 11 gold and 38 silver per hour. If we take into account the increased price of the poacher meat, the gold per hour from this farm is the same as the best one we found in the Wayfarer Foothills. I have a feeling this series is just turning into a Moa farming simulator. Funnily enough, as I did this farm, I accidentally spawned the Bloodstone Crazed Moa boss from the Anomalous Occurrences achievement category. It just so happened to be time for this boss to come up, and I happened to be the one that spawned it, which scared me at first, but then I found it funny. I've been spending so much time killing Moa, one of them finally had enough. Fun fact, slab of poacher meat is not part of this boss's loot table. Also, this happened an additional 3 times as I continue farming slabs of poacher meat throughout the rest of this episode. But now it's time to do the farm again and just kill a ton more Moa. I didn't get to the Bloodstone Crazed Moa to spawn again, but at the end of the 30 minutes I got 10 slabs of poacher meat, which is less than the last session but still within our average range. Everything together came to a total of 4 gold and 20 silver, over a gold less than last time, but again still within the average range. This is equivalent to 8 gold and 40 silver an hour. I also want to briefly mention how, at the town of Nolan, there are a couple of Blackline traders offering trading post services inside of Diessa Plateau, which I think is super cool. You also got a general merchant right next to this trading post, which is super convenient. Now going out there again, this run was not great, as at the end of it, I only got 5 slabs of poacher meat with my 24 eggs. Considerably less than the last 2, but not completely unexpected, as this just continues to show how weird the drop rates for slab of poacher meat is that contributes to it being so expensive. But after selling everything, I got 2 gold and 42 silver, or 4 gold and 84 silver an hour, about half as much. But of course, let's do it again. And this run was a little interesting because I actually had a competitor hunting Moas in this map as well. I also accidentally spawned the Bloodstone Crazed Moa again, and I had to pause for a couple minutes to make a phone call, but despite all of those issues, I got a total of 16 slabs of poacher meat, my best haul yet, and those, with my 19 eggs and other materials, sold for 6 gold and 50 silver, or 13 gold per hour. Above and beyond the best session I've had in this map, and in the Wayfarer Foothills as well. Now let's go do this for a 5th and final time to document what we get, and the results are pretty similar to the last run with 16 slabs of poacher meat earned. Selling them with the 22 eggs and everything else gives us a total of 6 gold and 66 silver, just slightly our newest best, with this being 13 gold and 32 silver per hour. Now, with 5 sessions completed, let's take the average of all of them, which comes out to 5 gold and 9 silver per session, equivalent to 10 gold and 18 silver per hour by farming Moas in the Diessa Plateau. Just for fun, if we eliminate our 3rd run, which had an unusually low amount of drops, we get 5 gold and 76 silver per session, or 11 gold and 52 silver per hour. Compared to everything else in the map, unless we happen to get super lucky on Rendak Signet, this is above and beyond the best gold farm in all of Diessa Plateau, just like it was in Wayfarer Foothills. This makes me a little concerned about future maps, and maybe this series is going to be kind of boring, but at least we can spend the majority of the start of the video looking at unique things. Which, as I farm up the last little bit of gold I need from this map, I wanted to highlight one random interesting thing that I discovered while exploring this map. And Diessa Plateau definitely has a lot of fun details, and you should spend some time truly looking around this map instead of just blasting through it for map completion. But in the center of the map, northwest of the Dawnrite Estate, you can find a char by the name of Jagon near site, with a group of miners digging into the cliffside here. If you chat with him, you can learn that they are a group from Bloodcliff Quarry, which is the big area to the northwest, and they explore looking for rare and expensive materials. Also, a few of the miners are using 2 pickaxes at once. I'm not really sure what the method is here, but maybe that's more efficient than using just one. Where they found some copper ore right here and are collecting it because the Iron Legion will mix it with other metals like iron. And these NPCs serve no purpose and are just hanging out in this part of the map, and I don't really know why I don't remember them, but it was cool to stumble upon them as I explored this map again. But as I've done so much farming for gold with a major focus on killing Moa, but also breaking things up with some node harvesting and event running, I can finally collect all of the gold that I need to reach 50 gold earned exclusively in Diessa Plateau, bringing my total up to 100 gold, halfway to unlocking the golden title, and a fifth of the way through our journeys in this series. Some quick stats: we are now level 53, and I played on this character for 22 hours, and through that time we have died 9 times. But now that we have earned 50 gold in Diessa Plateau, we can unlock our next map. With us currently having Wayfarer Foothills and Diessa Plateau unlocked, we can spin a wheel to unlock any map connected to these places. And with having unlocked Diessa Plateau, we don't get too many new places, with only one new available map in the pool, with the Plains of Ashford, which is another starting map like Wayfarer Foothills. But we of course still have Frostgorge Sound and Snowdin Drifts available. Frostgorge Sound still being a little too high of a level for us to unlock in this spin, but I think it should be entering the pool next episode. Leaving us with Snowdin Drifts to the west of Wayfarer Foothills, which is another zone in the same level range as Diessa Plateau. So with this spin, we have a 50% chance of getting the Plains of Ashford and a 50% chance of getting Snowdin Drifts. Just like the last episode, I think I would prefer to get the Snowdin Drifts, so let's see which it will be. And further into Ascalon, into the Plains of Ashford it is. Last episode I really wanted the Snowdin Drifts and I really wanted to dig in, but alas, the wheel has chosen the Plains of Ashford. Another level 1 through 15 with the material drops that come from that type of zone. But there are quite a few interesting things in the Plains of Ashford, including our first dungeon that we can dive into. Will we be farming MOAs, or will we find a new optimal way to earn gold in core Tyria maps? Join me next episode to find out.